That's why a lot of people are saying this is the age of awakening. We will ban Islam and Christianity in this country.
You said you were a Muslim.
Yes.
We should ban your own people.
Speaking the truth against your own religion has nothing to do with atheism or evil. These Arabians were those who enslaved our forefathers. They even castrated them.
Like he said, it's the age of awakening. So much is going on the continent. So much is going on TikTok. We are seeing a lot of pushback when it comes to these Abrahamic religions. So I did a video some months back talking about specifically Christianity and how Africans are moving away from it. But right now we're going to be talking about Islam and how the exact same thing is happening. We're seeing people coming out talking about how they are living the faith. Slowly, Africans are beginning to awaken to new realizations. They are deconstructing and decolonizing their minds, and the scales that have been covering their eyes are falling off, so now they now see things differently. We are seeing a call for cultural revolution. It's as if someone somewhere just snapped their fingers and now people are waking up left, right, center. Africans are now coming to a new realization of who they are, and they are not keeping quiet about it. They are fearlessly questioning everything and critically looking into their history, and now coming into the realization that these religions played a major role in their history as they were used as a tool to colonize, enslave, subjugate, and subdue the African people. Now, this brother on the screen is a Ghanaian and he was once a Muslim. He said a lot of interesting things in this video. Let's roll the clip. I'll meet you guys at the end.
So that Jesus story was copied from Egypt.
So Jesus, what was Jesus?
Jesus, there was nobody called Jesus. They said Abdul Latif, but can call me Nana Prodi. Yes, we were born into Islam, so we're given these names. They said we are God's children. We fear God the most. So they should pass through religion and tell us that Allah about spirituality, so we shouldn't dive into spirituality as Muslims. Then through Christianity, they told our Christian brothers and sisters that our idols are blasphemous, so we should throw them away. But they are grossly engaged in them. When you go to Arabia, they've entered into the covenant with Allah, and they have coerced the whole of Arabia to worship that Allah. This was done by one King Saud. He fought the other tribes and then composed them into a country called Saudi Arabia. So all Muslims, including me in Africa, we are worshiping the Arabian God. And all Christians in Africa are worshiping the European God, who is Jesus. The Arabian God is Allah, and the European God is Jesus. So let me complete the Pharaoh Akhenaten story. So he created that sort of monotheism. He combined two gods' names, Amun, Ra. Amun at the time was the most powerful god. So he created monotheism even before any Abraham was born. And they worship that deity as their creator god. And they even named their children after Amun. When Muslims and Christians pray, they say Amen. That is that name. Ancient Arabia called God Imani. Libya, Syria, they also call it Iman. So when you conjure the spirit, you have to give the spirit your name. So somebody who is mischievous, who wants to teach you how to conjure the spirit, will not disclose this secret to you. Then the person will tell you that spirit is called this, like Allah. So anything you do in the name of that Allah, the spirit will bless that person. Anybody who gave that spirit the name Allah.
You mentioned it, you become a slave to that person, and that spirit become powerful for that person. Who gave it that name?
You gave him that name.
Because you are calling that name in the person's name.
You are calling the spirit through the person. So we all Muslims on the African continent who are slaughtering livestock or animals in the name of Allah are actually doing that for the Arabians. That is why they don't do anything in that country. They don't work, but they are living in hopeless. So when you leave your land's gods and you are worshiping other people's gods, they can't bless you because your forefathers didn't have a covenant with them.
How do we take her back? Tell me.
Good. So we'll get there.
No. Let's talk about that now.
The best way to take her back is to ban all foreign religions. That is what Rwanda did. And today Rwanda is now like heaven. Paul Kagame came and closed all churches and mosques.
So we should ban them and do what?
We should close all churches and mosques. And then we can even turn them into factories and what have you. Then we should change all our names back to our ancestors. The very person who enslaved your ancestor, your forefather, is the same person who came and taught you your religion and your concept of God. Do you think the person will tell you the truth? Yes. These Arabians were those who enslaved our forefathers. They even castrated them. And it's these same people who came and they taught us our concept of God. And they are telling us Allah is the creator. That is what they are supposed to do. So when they brought Christianity to Africa, our forefathers knew the secret. They told them, you are not those to teach us who God is. We knew God before you. The white people didn't know anything. So they gave them order to war with them, conquer them, and coerce them into the religion.
Something else that is being talked about now is the sad fact that these religions pushes you away from your Africanness, your African identity as much as possible. You would find Africans that are bearing Abdullah, Yusuf, Mohammed. You have 3 Arabic names and you are African. We cannot even tell where you are from. It's like, the religion is now your culture, if that makes sense. You see Africans that have 2 English names. They have foreign names for their surname and for their first name. So there is this question now, and the question is, who are we? Are we Africans, or are we Arabs, or are we Europeans?
Christianity and Islam by nature, they are bullies of African culture. It is expressed in their intolerance of other people who believe differently from who they are. So here's a simple example. If a Muslim walks into this village, the first object is to build a mosque and make everyone in that village a Muslim. It changes your timetable of waking up. You wake up at 5, changes your fashion, changes the way you bury your loved ones. Now you must do everything according to Islamic law. The same thing is true with Christianity. Christianity walks into a space, first thing they want to do, as a Zulu, as a Xhosa, you take off your shirt and put on your beautiful beads, and you walk up to church. Christianity will look at you, though now there's a bit of tolerance, but the first glance is unacceptable, because the God that Christianity has does not have tolerance for culture. Does not. Rather, I would rather take off that thing, put on your shirt, put a tie on you, put a jacket, polish some shoes, and say, now you look nice. Because apparently you must become European first before you can become Christian. In order for God to accept you, He cannot accept you in your authenticity. He needs first to take you through the culture of the dominant culture, which is the colonial culture, before you can actually become an acceptable Christian. An intelligent conversation needs to take place where we say, is everything that we are doing in the Christian church Christian? Or some of the things, norms, and rituals that we are performing are actually European culture, but now they have been couched and packaged as Christianity. The way we sing, for example, the way we dress, for example, the way we eat, for example, the way we celebrate our things.
Majority of our cultures are lost. The ones that aren't, we do not want to practice, because according to Christianity, according to Islam, those practices are demonic. So now these religions have taken over our culture. So now we do things in Africa like the Europeans do, like the Arabs do. So now Africans are asking, who are we and what are we doing exactly? Are we Africans, or are we Europeans, or are we Arabs? So we are seeing this overnight shift in the mindset of people across Black Africa. I don't know what it's going to look like in the next 10 years or in the next 50 years, but I feel like the foundation for something great is already being set. Because if you have people who are 100% decolonized and in tune and proud of who they truly are as a people, then they bring forth the next generation of decolonized, spiritually and mentally free people who are going to do great things. This right here is how we break the vicious circle of mental slavery we have in the African Black community, and I'm here for it.
So that is why we have several denominations in Christianity and several sects in Islam.
All because of business.
Business. Saudi gets about $120 billion every year out of pilgrimage. So we have two forms of Christians. The false religion, which they've converted a lot of people into it. So you are just there wasting your time. You raise your hand to pray to a false God. You are praying to nobody. But they do the practicality over there in the Catholic Church, the Vatican. So right now, as I speak, the Vatican, which constitutes about 802 people in the 2020 population census, that year, 802 people, with a land mass of 0.2 square kilometers, is richer than the whole of African continent. And it is the richest single entity in the whole world, second to only the United States government. They have assets worth over $10 trillion. Because when they opened the churches worldwide, when the tithes were coming, they didn't spend them, they invested them. And they also do the practicality over there to get what they want. And they told you, you should raise up your hands and pray. So we have prayed up to date, we've got nothing. And we are not even asking ourselves, is it these people, haven't they lied to us? And they don't even care about African Christians who are wallowing in poverty. So anybody who creates a religion, that person and their children, their children's children, and their descendants will live in comfort, luxury. They'll be enjoying lives on this earth till the end of time. And you, the convert, will be wallowing in poverty. They'll come and tell you when you die, you go to some false heaven.
Some what?
False heaven. Whilst they are living in heaven here. So when the Vatican, the Catholic Church was amassing wealth, others came to realize it. Britain and America saw that there was something secret they were keeping from them. So they also severed themselves and formed the Anglican Church, English American Church. Then that was when other people started creating. So that is why we have several denominations in Christianity and several sects in Islam.
All because of business.
Business. So the Arabians, the Saudi monarch is richer than the whole of African continent. But he's not even helping we, the poor Muslims in this country. And every year, we still send money to them in the form of pilgrimage. And they are taking. Saudi gets about $120 billion every year out of pilgrimage. We have Hajj and we have Umrah. So we Muslims in Ghana are the poorest in this country, but we still send money to these people. When I was telling my people, they got angry. So I kept quiet. And I told them, let's worship, wallow in poverty, and die. We'll go to heaven. When we are revealing this secret, they told us that anybody who apostatizes, if you renounce Islam, they should kill you. Anybody who speaks against that religion should kill you. When you finish, you come and tell me you are God's children.
Revelations.